What's up, guys? It's Tyler from Catalyst Creative,
And Jaden from Catalyst Creative.
and we get the honor of doing the first Catalyst podcast. So, yeah, this is just going to be about worship leading life. We submitted some forms on our Instagram, and y'all sent us some questions. So, this is going to be y'all's questions, and it'll just be a cool little podcast. So,
Here we go.
here we go. Let's get started.
The first question is, Catalyst Creative seems so tight as a team. What goes into that to make it happen?
Lots of preparation and rehearsal, and now that we're every other week, I send out the set list almost 2 weeks in advance. So the team has a lot of time to dissect the songs and just listen to them and learn them, and I think that's the biggest thing. And then when we get there on Saturdays, we're just tight. Our next question is, what are 3 things you wish you first knew when you started ministry? Is that it's not all that it's meant to be. And I'm not saying that in a bad sense, but you just see, a lot of the times you see people on a stage and you just think, oh, that's cool. They're just getting together, they're a band, they're playing, they're having fun. Yeah, that's awesome. That's what it is. But the main reason is to get together and glorify God. And it's not about me, it's not about her, it's not about anyone else on that platform or in the room. It's about giving all glory to Jesus. So that would be my biggest thing.
Yeah.
Number 2 is it's not going to be easy. I'm a decent musician, a decent singer, and a lot of the times you're just oh, they're easy songs. There's no need to practice. No, there's a need to practice because, again, it's not about whether I sound good or play good, whatever it is. It's about God. And if you're doing it for God, it needs to be your best work, your best praise, your best worship, your best effort, and do everything as unto the Lord. So that's a big thing for me. Number 3 would probably be, from a leading aspect, figuring out how to work with other people. It sounds easy. It sounds like it's just oh yeah, we're friends, we'll get along. Whenever you step into a leadership aspect, the friend aspect is kind of on the back burner.
Away. Yeah.
And it doesn't go away completely, but it's on the back burner. From the time we're in there from 3 to 8,
Yeah.
y'all are my friends. Yeah, I love you guys, we're family, but I'm your leader first. And it's the same way, the other way around. I'm under a leader. People are leading me. So I have to understand that the friendship is on the back burner, and you can't get your feelings hurt when someone tells you, hey, you could have done that better, or hey, do this instead. You can't get your feelings hurt. You have to have thick skin and realize that they're leading you in that moment. I have a question.
All right.
What is your, and this is a question I'm asking her. This wasn't on any of the screenshots of the Instagram stuff or whatever. But what is your biggest pet peeve? If you go to a church, if you're going and you're listening to people worship, not you leading worship, but you're going to a worship service as just a attendee, what is your biggest pet peeve?
Okay, 2 came to my mind. One is the quote-unquote spontaneous worship. So I love spontaneous worship, Upper Room or Maverick City, but when people word for word and run for run copy their ad-libs, I just feel that's a little too rehearsed, kind of performance-like. There's nothing wrong with doing a few of them that just fit really well in the song that they've kind of made become new lyrics. But when you're doing their personal worship, that just makes me uneasy. Yeah, it makes me feel weird. It's kind of just fake and copying, in my opinion. But that's just one of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one is when they're on stage and they act different off stage. They're 2 different people. That's another one.
That's a big one.
What about you?
For me, she kind of covered a different perspective, but my main thing is guitar and leading, singing. So I'll do one for musicians, mainly guitar players. And this is probably a little thing to everybody who's not a musician.
Oh, Lord.
But if you have if you're playing guitar, electric guitar, and you have your delay for the song, and delay is very important on guitar, but if you have a noisy switch that you're hitting to tap in that delay on the tempo.
Oh, you're talking about little stuff.
Yeah, don't tap it on the verse of just the piano and the vocals, because it's very distracting, especially if you have a higher stage and it's kind of even with people's ears. Because I've been to a worship service where every song the guy would tap. He was in the front of the stage. I was right in front of him. He would tap in his delay. But it was on the really mellow parts of the songs, and it's super distracting. It's very distracting.
Yes.
That might be make no sense or be really little,
or
but that's
when they're tuning their guitars.
That's a technical thing. Everything you do should be not a distraction. Minimize distractions as much as possible. Again, whether that's tuning, whether that's tapping in your presets, whatever it is. And I actually don't even tap in. We use Click, so I just have it sync to the click beforehand with our tracks. So
Yeah.
if you can do something like that, do it. If you don't do that, like just make sure you're tapping in, like where it's not distracting. And then my second one would be, if you're singing, your voice and your mic is your instrument just as much as someone who's playing drums, piano, guitar. Like your voice and your mic is a part of your instrument just as much as a musician's guitar or drums or keyboard. So that being said, if you're going to sing low, get right up on the mic. If you're going to sing loud and high, get up off the mic because like you got to master
mic
the
etiquette
mic.
is
Yeah, you got to
key.
learn how to work the mic.
I remember because I'm like a soprano. We're pushing it, but I'm a soprano. And so I go low and then high and low and then high. And I would stay up on my mic because I couldn't hear myself. And Tyler goes, you got to stop doing that. Next question. What is your favorite event to lead at? Conference, camp, or a live recording?
I'm a camp guy. I like camp the best.
I was gonna say camp too.
Shout out, quick plug, Ignite Summer Camp.
2022.
Let's go. Sign up right now.
June.
Yeah, but I'm a camp guy. Like live was cool.
You can't compare them.
We started having lives, and then obviously we have conference every year, and like that's awesome, and it's great. But camp,
you can't compare them.
if you haven't been, like,
What
it's
are
not
you
gonna make
doing?
sense.
You gotta go.
It's not gonna make sense.
It
Camp is
won't.
one of the best events we do, and it's 5 days. I think it's like, I want to say like 7 or 8 services while we're there.
I think it's 7.
Yeah, so it's like 7 services. So the first service we have is a night service, and like we just kick it off hard.
I'm so excited.
But every service just tops the last one. Like every year, every service is just top the one before that, and then like the next one's just gonna be even better.
And there's so
even
much
better.
expectation.
All right, our next question is: how does it feel when some of the most famous worship teams and worship leaders recognize you?
It's crazy. It's humbling. It's rewarding. But we also have to remember that they're just people. But when you look up to those people as inspiration and they're where you want to be and where you're working towards, it's very like rewarding in that you're doing the right thing, you're taking the right steps.
Yeah.
It feels crazy. What is our schedule at Catalyst on a Saturday night?
So normally I get there like 2:00. Just me, just kind of like make sure all our tracks are good, that kind of thing. Just go over the last minute stuff before the team gets there. Everyone rolls in around 3:00. So I get there at 2:00. Everyone rolls in 3:00, and then we set up all our gear, like pedal boards, whatever, guitars, make sure we're in tune, make sure all our connections are good to go, test out ears, make sure in-ears are good to go, start working on a rough mix on the in-ears, and then we'll do a quick like line check and sound check with front of house, make sure we're good there, and then we'll do a quick little talk or devotional, either or, sometimes both, at 3:30, 3:45.
Yeah,
like it
after all
depends on
that
how
stuff.
good the sound check goes and like
Hiccups and stuff like that.
So it depends, but normally be in our backstage room 3:45, be done in there by 4, get practice rolling at 4:00, and that we need to start at 4. We're already done with sound check. We're already done with ears. We'll make tweaks obviously as need be, but like we're not like loading tracks at 4:00.
Right.
We're doing that
Yeah.
hours before. Normally run through top of the set to the back of the set,
In order.
and then we will do intros and outros, transitions from song to song once we get each song down. So we never really go over any song more than 2 or 3 times. We normally don't go any song more than 2 times.
Yeah. Next question. How do we, as Catalyst Creative, as a team, stay together on one set in one accord?
I would say the biggest thing is organization, and that has to do weeks before the event or weeks before the day we're supposed to be up there. So organization, that means sending out the set list, sending out the link, sending out, like, if they want to click, like, hey, like, can you send me the click for that song? It'll be easier to practice. Send out, as a leader, you're supposed to send out all that stuff. Your job just isn't on the Saturday or whatever day, Sunday you lead. It's every day. If someone texts you, like, hey, like, what's that bass part? Or, like, whatever, you send them what they need to know. And now with YouTube, it's like there's no excuse not to have people prepared. Because if they ask for a bass part, go on YouTube and look up that song and the bass part or the drum part or the guitar part and send it to them, or like a vocal tutorial, whatever. Like, send it to them. And like, we normally don't use stuff like that, but like that stuff is great resources to stay organized and send it to your team. And then in the set, We all wear in-ears. In-ears are just like little earbuds with either foam on them. I have like molded ones to my ears. That's a different type.
Lucky.
Yeah, that's a different type of them. But they're just little earbuds that go in your ears, and it's sending you your own mix. So whatever you want in your mix is up to you.
Yeah.
But it's sending you your own mix. So have in-ears. Reason being is you can hear your click track. We use a click track, and I'll put like a click track in here. Cue the click track.
Pre-chorus 2, 3, 4. Chorus 2.
So that's a click track. I'll put it in there.
And a guide.
Yeah, and a guide. So the click is like the tss, 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 and the guide is like verse 2, 3, 4, and then you have all your music
Interlude.
in the track. Like you can put whatever you want in there from the record that you're playing. So have in-ears so you can use a click track because you can't put a click
It'll
track
save your
through
life.
live speakers. So
Oh yeah, no.
get in-ears, run click tracks or run backing tracks, however you want to do. You can make them, you can buy them, whatever. And then have a music director. Nate is our keyboard player and
We
music
love you, Nate.
director. Yeah, so
Yes.
I'll actually throw in some stuff from live.
Needs a break. Needs a break. Here we go.
That has you'll hear his voice, and y'all
Oh
like the
my
people at the event didn't hear that.
We hear it.
We're the
team
only people
hears
who
it
hear
in
that.
our
So
ears.
that keeps me from having to be distracting and throw
Oh,
up all
yeah.
these hand signals and making sure everybody saw it. Instead, everybody
We're all hearing
hears
the same
it.
thing.
We've actually run 3 talkback mics before at camp, this past camp. One, Nate was on drums. We ran him a
Yes.
talkback mic because he was running track. So he had a talkback mic. I was on the front line leading, had a talkback
had
mic
a
on the
talkback,
side.
yeah.
And then our front of house sound engineer, Jack, had a talkback mic.
It was awesome.
It was sweet. And
Yeah.
people say it's distracting. People say it's like, how do you worship? Like, how do you lead worship with all that in your ears? You get used to it.
You train yourself like anything else.
You get used to it.
Yeah.
So my goal, or my advice would be if you want to start implementing tracks and you want to start implementing talkback, music director, like telling you cues and where to go, and like he tells the band chords if they're lost, whatever. I would recommend doing it during your rehearsals. Run tracks,
Beforehand, yeah.
run clicks, and do that for like a few weeks solid,
Yeah.
and make sure you're good to go. Don't just throw everyone out on the deep end. That's what I would say to do. Do it
Yeah.
during practices for 2 or 3 weeks, and
Do
then
an
like
easy song, like one, and
Yeah.
then the rest live.
yeah,
And-
slowly start introducing them.
Yeah. They're lifesavers though.